Hey everyone, welcome to the weekly Unreal Engine Twitch live stream. I'm your community manager, Chance Ivey. I'm here today with senior producer Deke Waters and our new content curator, Jon Jones. We're going to be talking over a few things in Marketplace and taking a look at the new preview process for how we roll preview builds out to you guys. We're changing that from 4.7 going on, so we're going to touch on that a little bit, and then we'll take some questions and then kick off the game jam. So first, we're going to get into the news. Earlier this week, last weekend actually, you probably saw a lot around the Game Awards from Jeff Keighley and PlayStation Experience. Joe Kreiner went out there and checked out all the cool stuff that was going on. We had a lot of different games that were shown off at PlayStation Experience, as well as the Game Awards. Like one of the teams that was featured there is our good friends at 310 making a Drift for the Oculus Rift game. Super cool. And the Odd Gentlemen are doing a new King's Quest game. So definitely check those out from our blog. Then at the PSX event, there were a number of UE3 and 4 games shown off or had news about them, like Batman Arkham Knight, which is coming from Rocksteady, ships on June the 2nd. Killing Floor 2 is its first time coming to console from Tripwire. Orcs Must Die Unchained from Robot Entertainment. Mirror's Edge was free for the weekend from DICE and EA. I can't remember if they extended that or not, but it was super cool from those guys for PlayStation 3. And Dungeon Defenders 2 from Trinity Entertainment. So there were some other ones on there too that are trickling in. We're actually updating this list right now. Like Ether 1 by White Paper Games came through on Twitter and was like, hey, we're there too. So it's like awesome. So lots of cool UE stuff happened out in Vegas last weekend. So Marketplace content release. We get these guys out to you weekly, and this is the first one written by Jon Jones as opposed to Deke Waters normally. So
expect drastic improvement in quality.
Oh. yeah.
I don't want to be the one to say it, but
so let's see what we got this week for you guys. New environments. We got the Urban City Pack by Polypixel and Countryside by Polypixel as well. Materials and effects. There's the FX Star Starter Kit by Jeremy Baldwin. This has had a lot of buzz in the forums. A lot of people have been waiting for this one, so we're super excited to get this out to you all. 100 plus Magic Particle Effects by UE Tools. Hand Painted Textures Pack by Yoo-Hoos. I think that's how you pronounce that.
That's our best guess.
Cool. Cinematic Music Pack by Chibola Productions. So awesome stuff that's available for you today through the Unreal Engine launcher. So go check it out and get things.
yeah, definitely check out the video for the star effects. Amazing.
Yeah, really, really cool stuff in there. All right, and on to our community spotlight. So first up, we've got, I had it at the bottom there, wonderful winter scene here from Foxhead.
Cool.
There's some more work in progress posts on Polycount as well, but these are some of the final images. Let me see if I can zoom into this a little bit more. I'm not very good. And oh gosh, there we go. So really excellent looking exterior scene. I'm a huge fan of winter and snow, so I saw this, I was like, bookmark, you know, grab that.
It looks great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, reading through here too, there was talking about how he did some of the foliage. There was an earlier thread about how to do foliage that the community all dived on and was talking about different techniques and stuff, and Foxhead used that to kind of learn how to do some of that stuff. So thanks to everybody in the community that's been, you know, adding all kinds of cool how-tos, and yeah, definitely want to see it. It says it's a WIP, so I would love to see even further stuff, but this is looking great so far. Then we've got Dream Master. This is a 7-student project. I believe it says 6 here, but in the thread it shows 7. This is from Montreal's National Animation and Design Center, and we'll show the video here real quick. It's not in HD, but there's some really cool stuff in here. You can kind of see some of the different mechanics. You're this character named Nemo, and you can take on, like Mario-style, different suits that give you different abilities. So there's a frog suit, there's a mouse suit, there's a cheetah suit. And the premise of the game is you're trying to find your plushies to get back out of the dream world. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, okay, I want to play this. Yeah, super cool stuff there.
Nature's wingsuit.
Oh yes. So I really hope they take this from just, you know, a student project into, yes, the mouse gets smaller.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll love that. I hope they take this to, you know, from a student project into, like, you know, a fully fledged game. I'm really curious to see what they end up doing with it. But yeah, here on the forums, there's some high def shots you can kind of see a little bit better fidelity on the art. really really great whimsical, aesthetic. Love that shot right there. Just super cool. Let me get the mouse out of y'all's way. But yeah, super cool stuff. It's made in 7 weeks by 7 dudes. And you guys may remember the playable trailer, playable trailer from the Silent Hills game on PlayStation 4, and somebody is recreating that inside Unity 4. It's a longer video, so I'm just hopping towards the back end here, but really great use of the physical rendering, physical materials on this. The PBR is just pretty great. It's funny, people are asking how he got the pictures in here. Everything was created from scratch except for the actual photographs. And the developer said that he took screenshots from the PlayStation version and actually exported those out, cut the pictures out of them, and then brought them into the engine to actually make the
Crafty.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, MacGyvered that one.
I love inventiveness like that.
Yeah, super cool stuff. See, I've got the last bit here, which is maybe a little creepy. I don't know. It might be. Oh goodness.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I have purposely avoided the PT because I don't want PT. Stress disorder. All right. So yeah, really great thread in here too, talking about how it was created and stuff like that. So awesome work. And we've got a little bit longer of a video here. This is Future Games 14 is a school out in Sweden. They have a 2-year game education program that Horace Shord, who a lot of you guys know, actually teaches at. This is their 14 games projects. So I think there's 7 in here. It's really, really cool stuff. Get the mouse out of the way if I can. Oh, it paused because I'm the best at the internet.
All of
So, yeah.
them.
You took a class in it.
Yeah, these were all made in 2 weeks, and they were trained for 5 days. I'm sure it's a little rigorous training being a game school, but these were all Blueprint games too. So
Nice.
yeah. So Cannibal Loco. Looks like using the paper 2D tools.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. It's great.
Nice.
Looks like one of those old, nearly impossible to beat games.
Yeah.
Your Super Meat Boys or anything that came out before 1990.
Finally, cannibalism in a cute wrapper.
Yeah, I know. That's what we've all wanted. Some cool stuff there. This is Boz. This is kind of like this reminded me of Robot Unicorn Attack, minus the Erasure song, but Balls of Steel, very cool.
Love the background.
I do too. Yeah, like
the perspective here is really cool.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it because you can really see what's coming. Right,
Yeah.
it's a good balance of the unknown you have to react to, but being able to have just enough heads up. Super cool stuff from them.
That's slick.
Cubbles.
So yeah.
Oh, you're a bubble.
Yeah, this one kind of reminded me of Unmechanical, if anybody's played that for iOS, another old UE3 game. But yeah, you're this bubble moving through this tube.
Seems to be a little more forgiving than Tappy Chicken.
Maybe.
Tappy
At least
bubble.
is that just for me?
You're not very good at Tappy?
Not very good.
No. Well, the project's you can download the project and make it to where you turn the colliders off and you can win.
Give it that a shot.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Grant Shankwaller, one of the producers on Fortnite, about the same exact thing. Yeah, it's the escape.
Oh, check this out. So you're you're an escaping egg.
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember one time when I was an escaping egg, it was just like this.
did you avoid the spikes?
You had a weird childhood, dude.
I didn't avoid the spikes. Yeah, wall jumping. Check that out.
Oh, he has the shoes for it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, cool. We've got sequence, which this one's really cool use of effects on this one. Just super level of polish for just 2 weeks, right? Like really low. Like hit the switches to turn on the the little risers.
Cool.
The ability to jump up and do that. Cool spatial puzzles.
Nice.
Yeah. Digger, enter to play. spacebar to change.
I love the fact that, I mean, these are like all fixed perspective. Essentially, they get so much depth and dimensionality out of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really nice. This kind of reminds me of Little Big Planet / Metroid. You know?
Oh, totally. Little Big Metroid. I'd play that.
Yeah, I would play that too. Oh yeah, this is a really wonderful life and death of Matthew the Mouse.
Yes, this is awesome.
So it appears, I can't see close enough. It looks like it's 2D on 3D. The mouse looks like he's just a flat sprite.
Yeah.
Neat.
When I was a mouse, this did not happen to me. So lava rises, and you just have to you have to not die.
Oh, this reminded me of the old arcade game from years and years ago, Pack Rat.
Yeah.
You guys ever saw that, where you were the mouse, you had to go around and find the little reserves of things to take back to your nest? Pretty cool.
No, but that sounds pretty awesome. I will go find that. Cool.
It's really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Impressive they pulled that together that quickly.
Yeah.
I wonder what the 5 days of training must have been like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's just really great stuff. 2 weeks, all that stuff was built. So
Crazy.
different teams. Yeah.
Oh, good work.
So yeah, great work, everybody. Awesome stuff. Keep up the awesome. All right, so preview builds. In the past, we've always had a preview build process where we release, I guess it's like an early release of our builds out to you guys, maybe a week before we actually ship the real build, and so you guys can get it, toy around with it, see all the new features that are coming. We've got the preview notes that come out with that, where you can just kind of parse through all the hundreds of pages, it seems, of preview notes that come with specific stuff. Usually they've been pretty solid in the sense that they're the features are kind of baked in. There's still some QA happening to it, but it's kind of at least to the release candidate like hierarchy of RC0 moving forward. So it's stable enough that we're ready to release it to people to start poking holes in. We wanted to kind of make that experience a little bit better for people by letting them have even earlier access to get better feedback on what might be broken, what is good and bad in these builds. And so instead of releasing it just a week before we actually ship, we're actually going to release it I believe a week after we branch the new build. So we're supposed to be branching 447 today, I believe, and we'll probably be pushing a new preview build of that very soon. So talking to Katie, our senior producer on Engine, one of the things that we really wanted to make sure that we communicate in this change is that first preview build is going to be probably pretty broken. I mean, we're doing a quick smoke test against it just to make sure that it opens. The editor isn't just broken completely, but there's going to be a lot of dragons and a lot of holes in that one, as it hasn't had a full proper QA pass on it. But we're going to be trying to take those and then have a running list of issues found by you guys and found by us that's listed out inside, I believe, a forum post at the beginning, so we can kind of say, okay, here's kind of what we know about, here's what we're working towards on the next preview build. And we'll be releasing them on a cadence of a week-by-week basis, with give or take a day. So we might have preview build 1, and then a week later we'll knock out the known issues that we've got there, a lot of our higher priority stuff, and then we'll have preview build 2, and et cetera, et cetera. So we're still working out all of the fine details of what the process looks like. And Ray is going to be writing a full-on blog post outlining everything that should come out sometime, I believe, early next week. Don't quote me on that. We're still actually writing it. But we wanted to go ahead and let people know about it now, as we're going to be on break for holidays, and we want to make sure that we can explain it to people up front, and it's not January after we've released a couple of previews before anybody really knows what's going on. So it's going to evolve over time. It's going to have some rough spots in the process, but it's a way that we want to get a lot of y'all's feedback, into these builds earlier on, so we can kind of have more of an exchange to say, okay, great, here's where we are. Next week we're heading towards this, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, with that, look out for the first preview for 4.7. We're starting with 4.7, and it's going to be the cadence, probably with a number of iterations, but we're going to do this for releases moving forward. So yeah, just wanted to let y'all know those are the things that are going to change. Oh, and also, yeah, we're attacking things more on a schedule base as opposed to a content base. So instead of saying, okay, from preview to release, we're going to focus on this feature first, then this feature second, then this feature third. We're going to take the known issues instead, take those into the week's schedule, sprint those in, and then have the next release, et cetera, et cetera. So it'll all be driven by what that schedule is. So, we're excited to roll this out to you guys and kind of see what you think. And if you got feedback on it, those kind of things, we're all ears. So look out for the official announcement coming soon. And if you have any questions, just throw them our way. So cool. And with that, I'll turn it over to the marketplace guys and let them have it from here.
Awesome. So Manager Chance invited us to be on the show. We're thinking a little bit about, it's been a while since we've been on. So I wanted to kind of go back a little bit in history and review. And so I was looking at the history of Marketplace, and it's only a 3-month history. So we've only been around for just a little while now. In that time, we noticed that if you just do a count on the Marketplace currently, we have about 90 packs that we have that come from submissions. And over the 3 months, we've really learned a ton. We have kind of been building the ship as we've been floating around in the water. So it's been a lot of trial and error, unfortunately. But we did have quite a few things in place that we wanted to kind of launch the Marketplace with and set our priorities for up front. So wanted to run through that with you guys. Want to talk about some of the things that are coming out potentially in the near future, and then finally wanted to introduce Jon Jones formally to you guys and kind of talk about what some of his roles and responsibilities are going to be moving forward. So first and foremost with the Marketplace, our primary goal has always been to make sure that we have quality at the top. We really wanted to create a place for game developers to both offer and find high quality, high value assets that they can use in their UE4 game projects and any other projects that they have that is using UE4. So we're 3 months old, and since we started, we've found that there's quite a few growing pains that we're finding, and that we are working through as we come to them. Just listed out a couple. We're really finding that everything we're doing, I've said this a ton of times, I know you guys are probably sick of hearing it, but everything's a manual process for us for the most part. We are finding ways to automate and to streamline, but those are costly to implement, and so we're making sure that we're very careful about going too far in the automation. We don't want to be robots that you guys are talking to whenever you submit things. But at the same time, we definitely want to speed up our process.
I kind of want to be a robot, though, a little bit.
We'll work on that.
Okay, cool.
We'll work on that.
All right.
Yeah, so the next thing that we've realized is that the process of building pipelines is hard work, and you have to experience the pipeline before you can really go back and iterate and improve on it. And so we are really seeing that a lot of the pipelines that we have in place, we know they need to be improved, and we know that they need to be worked on. So part of the thing that I'm going to be working on with Jon is to really criticize those pipelines, make sure that we're getting things through them a lot faster and quicker, and making sure that we have the right people doing the right pieces of that pipeline along the way. People is another interesting growing pain that we are experiencing. We had the foresight to really choose the people who would be part of Marketplace that were familiar with the engine and familiar with the process of making games. They weren't really familiar with answering emails and doing legal contract agreements and things like that. So we really have learned how to kind of navigate those waters quite a bit as we've been improving the pipelines along the way. Still a big work in progress, and still something that we're going to be improving. Those are just some of the growing pains that we've seen. I'm sure there are a ton of others. But the other kind of issue that we find is whenever we focus on quality, it kind of slows things down. We notice that there are a lot more time and people needed for reviews. There are a lot more time and effort in the iteration process that we go back and forth with whenever we have a submission and we have to get it ready for putting it on the Marketplace. Building the pipelines themselves is something that takes a lot of time and effort, and really whenever you focus on quality, we really want that quality to come back onto the customer experience that they get whenever they're in that pipeline. So that's something that's important. Focusing on quality also means we have fewer items. Until we have a bigger team that can process these things faster, until we have some of these processes worked out, it's just going to take us more time, more effort, and more people to put more things out. So we have a smaller number of items that are on the Marketplace. And then finally, we just overall, it just things take time. And that's really something that I know the community is maybe not happiest to hear always, and we are certainly not happy to say, and we're trying to do our best to shrink those times, but it is a time taking process. The good news is we have some pretty good results. Our marketplace is full of high quality, high value assets. We are releasing those on a weekly cadence that we feel pretty strongly about. We've not really missed a Wednesday yet since we released back in September 3rd. We feel like whenever you go to the marketplace, you're not wading through things that don't have high value. You can usually, I know we have some issues with our search and filtering. I'll talk to that in a minute, but for the most part, the things you find there are things of high value and high quality. One surprising thing, I guess it's a side benefit of having the hands-on approach that we've taken with the marketplace, is that the people that are involved, myself, even you, Chance, with your involvement, the people in the content team, they really know the people that are on the marketplace, and we know the assets that are going out there. We're pretty intimate with them. By the time they get out there, we kind of know what the end user can expect.
Right. There's a lot of conversation back and forth. It's like communication. That's it's like entering into a business partnership, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes back to that don't want to be a robot thing, right? We want to make sure that
Right.
we have a personal connection with a lot of the sellers and buyers.
Can I still make robot sounds?
If you want, yeah, that'd be great. Chirps mainly, though, please. And then the other kind of small pieces is that we find that having the hands-on approach, we really go to links of improving our guidelines, and that's something that John's certainly going to be working quite a bit on as we find out what works, what doesn't going into the marketplace. We're not setting those guidelines just for Epic's benefit. We're setting it for the buyers and sellers' benefit as well. And then just in general, steady improvement over time. Because of the work that we've done, because we've been so hands-on with it, we see what needs to be improved and we try to react to it as quickly as we can. If it requires more of a concerted effort or more of a feature-driven kind of approach, then that's a little far harder for us to get the ball moving quickly. But most of the things that require one of us to address, we can address that almost in real time. So all of that said, I think it's important that we establish and be a little more transparent about a few things. One, how we approach decisions. What are our priorities whenever we make a decision on what to do next for the marketplace? And I think the other thing is that we want to be more transparent in the process itself of getting something from the initial submission all the way through to being on marketplace. At the highest level, we have three priorities that we're trying to uphold. One is to keep the quality level as high as possible. Two, we want to increase efficiency in our processing and our pipelines, but it can't come at the cost of affecting the quality, and the quality both of what you see on the marketplace and your interactions with us on the back end. And then the third one is just improve the overall marketplace experience from the user perspective. So the first one I'll talk about a little bit is process improvements. And I think before we can really talk about improvements, we need to make sure that we're really clear about what the process is. Don't know that we have that put out anywhere of exactly what the steps are that a submission needs to take before it goes to the live marketplace. So the very first thing that happens is we get a submission. And if you've been to our website, you'll see the submission form there. You're able to put in just basic information, name, address, that kind of thing.
And please fill it all out.
Fill it all out. We're really trying to avoid required fields as much as possible. We do take the step of verifying the information, but please help us out and fill out as much of the information as you can up front.
Right. That's one of the things that holds a lot of packs. Packs that we want to see in there. Move forward a lot is just being able to get all of the valid information from the creator that's trying to make the offering, and so that's not the largest hang up, but it's a good one sometimes. It's
pretty big, and it's surprising how much information we do require to get something onto the marketplace, and it's really not we don't require it. It's getting the right information from the user to fill out the legal agreements and to make sure that you have enough information as a buyer to go in and understand if this is something you want to actually purchase and download. So we get the submission. The very first thing we do, it goes automatically into our email system, and it automatically goes onto an internal Trello board. The three of us and a few other people here are on the committee that reviews the very first submissions that come in. We're really only reviewing based on the screenshots, the videos, and the description at that point. We take a look at it. We vote internally on what we think is best to move on to the public Trello board. If it passes that, then it goes onto the public Trello board. By the way, we do that meeting about twice a week now, and we are typically able to get to that almost the same day, if not the day after
We're having today.
submission. We're having one today, right after this.
Right after the stream.
So if it passes that, we go to the public Trello board, and we've started to put a 4-week timer on each thing that goes on to the public board. That will probably get reduced a little bit, but right now we are pulling things that we feel has shown a significant trend up. Usually give things a week or two before that happens, but unfortunately it is a little subjective. The idea though is if something is really starting to rocket in the first couple weeks, everything that we've seen in the marketplace so far has trended well in that direction.
Yeah, and in that, to that point, like we really encourage people to go vote, right? Like, if you have a Gmail account, you can hop on a Trello, and same with our roadmap, you can just hop on there and vote for things that you want. So same goes for Marketplace.
Yep.
If you want to see cool stuff in Marketplace and you are active in looking at the Trello and you're not voting, vote, because that definitely helps.
It's also a good place to see what's coming down the road, or at least what we think is coming down the road on Marketplace.
And it's a good opportunity to market and advertise what you want to get on there. And we have a special red phone that lights up whenever something gets enough enough votes. Occasionally we'll look over and say, there's the phone. There's something awesome in the marketplace. We need to jump on that.
It's John's cell phone now.
That's right.
What?
That
Basically, we're saying call John.
That automated process is, I say, hey, John, look at this.
Yeah.
And it happens. Yep. So it's on the once it's done with public votes, then we pull it back in and we get to work on processing it. We've just recently set up a column on the public Trello board that is called in process. That is kind of a catch-all for anything that happens between the time that it goes off of the public voting category and it goes into the process of getting legal, getting bank info, coordinating to get things set up for the marketplace, and getting it actually launched. So the steps there are, first of all, verify the information. We have to make sure that we have your correct email, your correct address, your everything that we need to fill out the legal and bank information that we need. Once we get that back, we go through the process of getting you to kind of sign the legal agreement to make sure that your bank system is set up and ready to accept the payments should you earn royalties.
Because we like giving you money for selling things.
That's exactly right. So after that, we have that, and now we are ready to start getting the files from you and working with the content team to clean up everything, to make sure that all of the guidelines have been met, to make sure that it's in the format that we need, and we also do a little bit of helping you to make sure that you're presenting your assets in the right light on the marketplace, that sort of thing. We go through a process after that. That process usually takes between a week to up to 3 weeks, depending on how much back and forth we need to do with users, with developers. We stage it internally on an internal launcher that looks like the external launcher, almost identical, so that we can kind of get a sense of what it's going to look like when it goes live. Yeah. We can make some tweaks to the screenshots. Basically, at that point, we're looking at the presentation mainly of what it's going to look like. And we also do our testing on it at that point. We haven't done an exhaustive amount of detailed testing, and we probably won't on the assets that come in. But we do like to make sure that they download and they run and they insert the right way that they should. So that happens. Then it goes through a final review, and that final review it can happen with the people here. It can happen with executives of Epics. It can go all the way up to Tim Sweeney. Looks at some of these. They're in these reviews. So it's really a last chance for us to make sure that we all feel good about the process and all feel good about the things that are going out to the public. And then we launch, and you're basically scheduled at that point to go live on a certain date. We've been a little hesitant to give out the exact launch dates because we do kind of move things around depending on the needs from week to week. But we do want to make that a little bit more transparent too. As soon as we know when your item's going out, we'll at least start to let you know that that's coming down the road, and that you can start to prepare for it and do whatever kinds of promotion that you want to do for it there.
In terms of weekly releases, the way we shift things from week to week, the thinking is we like having a broad, well-rounded series of asset packs. Like this week it was VFX, materials, environment props, and audio. Like we try to have sort of like proportions and ratios to make each week juicy. And if we can theme them together, like everything's slightly medieval theme, or here's sci-fi, that's kind of how things get shifted around. Just so it makes it an interesting story every week.
Yeah, and with that too, like we're not going to be of the practice of booting people back, just back of the line because of strict aesthetic stuff too. If anything, it's within something like a week or something. We just try to make sure that the offerings are a little cohesive.
Yeah, it goes back to the robot thing. We want to make sure that if something doesn't pass one of our final stages, we've from the very beginning tried to give as much information as we possibly can and provide as much support as we can to get that thing passed through the next time, or to get your other assets passed through the next time. So that is something that's important to us. So with all of that said, there's a lot of steps there, and each of those I've really pulled back quite a bit from the actual nitty-gritty of what happens at each of these steps. So as you can see, that all of that kind of comes together and involves a lot of people, a lot of time. First thing we want to do is make sure that we have the tools to be able to do this whole pipeline. So one of the big things that we're improving is we have a team in Seattle that's really been doing an amazing job of just keeping up with our requests for the back-end tools. We're building all this up from scratch, so making sure that we have all the catalog admin work that we need, all of the eventual publishing pipeline stuff that's in place that we'll be able to hopefully start to push that out to the public later on next year. Right now, it's in the very, very early stages, so that we know that it works for us first.
Right.
So they've really been doing a good job of answering our needs for that. But there's a ton more work in that back end side. We also want to make sure that we're keeping up with and improving the quality of customer interaction. We know that we aren't the best customer service people in the world, so we really want to make sure that we have the tools in place and the transparency in place that we can ask the community and have a real conversation about how are we doing, what do we need to improve. Things like Chance, whenever we made some of the changes to the public Trello board, and putting some just simple dates on some things that we were doing, I think is really an important
and even that
step.
Making the change over from in process instead of just from promoted to, right? There's steps passes. Okay, great. We've taken you from the voting section onto, okay, now we've reached out for your legal information and we've requested your assets, and then okay, now that they're ready to queue up into actual schedule for release, there's some more breaks in there, and so we've done a little bit of refinement on the public Trello to kind of just say, okay, promoted to marketplace. What does that mean?
And one simple thing about the public Trello there that I think this is one of the growing pains of building the pipeline while we're using it, is the public Trello is actually a secondary tracking mechanism for us. So anything that we do internally, we have to then mirror on the public Trello.
Right.
And so it's not, if it appears that we're trying to hold back information, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
It just cuts out a step for us so we can get the thing processed through faster, right? So we'll continue to hone that down and make sure that we have a better way of communicating what's going on behind the scenes in either that public or some other way of presenting that to you guys. What else do we have here? So the other thing that we were talking about with improving the pipeline is just taking a look at each pipeline and make sure that we know what is happening at each step of the way. And this is something that, John, I'll be looking to you quite a bit to really come in and help to streamline a lot of what we're doing on the overall processing side of things.
I'm a process nerd.
Nice. Awesome. Speaking of that, so going on a little bit from the back end to the front end and looking at our overall marketplace experience as a whole, we have a couple different groups of people that we want to really make sure that all have a good experience with the marketplace. We have the buyers, we have the sellers, and we also have us, right? So the first part of this conversation is really just talking about us and what we need to be able to process things faster so we can actually get things to the marketplace faster and keep that quality up. The second piece, though, is the buyers and really the sellers. And so far, we feel like we've at least started some of the features for the buyers, but the sellers have kind of been left behind a little bit. And so that's something that we're going to be looking at, is making sure that we have better, more frequent sales data. I know that that's something a lot of people have asked us about. And so we won't have the really nice, slick front end anytime soon, but we can do a lot of steps along the way to get better information out to people a little sooner than we have before. So John and I have been working with the finance team, and we've worked with some of the team online to see what we can do there, and hopefully some changes there will be coming pretty soon. Just kind of going down the hot list of things that we've heard about so far. Search filtering, better navigation overall. We know we want that. We are working on our plans there are to, hopefully we will have a really nice search feature soon. But until that day, we really want to work on a lot of the filtering and how we get the information presented to you as quickly as possible on the launcher. So you'll see kind of the procession of features. There will be improvements to how we present the material to you and the items to you. And then we will start to get to a point where we can actually have the filters and the searches that people have asked for. So it's a little bit of a staggered step. But that work is actively starting, and it will be completed hopefully in the coming months. Resizing launcher is something that has been asked for quite a few times, I know.
Not even just Marketplace.
Not even just Marketplace, just overall.
Yeah.
And that's one that I think is close. So that's should be short term. Increasing the consistency of tech details. This is one of those things that honestly we have a lot of control on internally. Just even the two of us, we can do a lot to make sure that we're setting the right goals and guidelines and making sure that the items that go on the marketplace have a very set standard way of communicating what's in the packs. Kind of hand in hand with that is the file viewer, the internal video player, the internal photo player, that kind of thing that we want to have down the road. But until that, at least we can make sure that there is a consistency to the message that we're giving the users for the descriptions. And that's certainly something that we've already started, and we will continue to make sure that that's part of every asset that we put up on the marketplace moving forward.
I'm putting together a series of templates per asset type to better explain exactly, this is what you're getting in this weapon pack. Here's the polygon count. This is the platform it's intended for. Does it have, does like include bullets or reloadable magazines? Is it modular? Basically, as a buyer going in, I want to be able to see a bill of goods within each of these individual asset packs and understand, okay, that's what I'm getting, that's what I need. LODs, good, awesome. And for environment packs, I want number of assembled buildings, number of modular pieces. Basically things that just give me a better context in addition to just screenshots, so I don't have to guess at what's behind the veil. So I'm going to be working on standardizing all of that and putting videos and the best screenshots front and center, and just emphasizing the marketing and the messaging of it, and working directly with content creators in the marketplace to put their assets in the best light. Basically make it attractive to a buyer coming from my history as being the guy commissioning and buying these things. Cool. So that's where I'm going.
So kind of the division that John and I have talked about is to really have a way of focusing on this efficiency that I was talking about at the first part of the stream, and also making sure that we're paying attention to the experience of the end user coming into the marketplace. Right. So I'm going to be really focusing on, with John's help, of course, the efficiency side, and hopefully you'll be able to take on a lot of the pieces that I wasn't able to work on prior to your being here, which is a lot of the front-facing marketplace user experience side. And so I didn't know if you wanted to maybe talk a little bit about your background in that front and give us kind of a sense of what that's like.
So my professional background has been primarily in contract art. I've been working for 14 years in a mix of contract roles and full-time studio roles, having started out as a character artist. And over the years, I've done everything from character art, environment art, weapon art, VFX, UI, mild scripting. I've touched just a little bit of everything, and then I moved into roles where I was managing external teams doing that. So I understand what it's like to be working, working from home, or as a part of a very small team remotely for a game development company, and creating products that they can actually use. And having been inside and outside, and put in charge of managing those relationships for people that lack the context of your specific game or your specific project or technology, I think I'm in a really good position here to be able to. Well, first off, there's a standard technology platform that a lot of people use, the Unreal Engine, which is amazing. And I can take my experience, having been hands-on, having been the guy that's writing the technical documentation, the art style guides, giving art direction, art management, and training external teams, and how to not only use the tools and technology that I need, but to be able to go above what is normally expected for being like an external resource to create assets I can actually use. So not only am I the buyer, I'm the guy that's training them to use the specific, to work in the specific environment that I have. And I've worked on, we're 35 titles at this point in my career across every platform, like every engine for the last 3 or 4 generations of consoles and technology. I've worked with every kind of art style. I've worked with licensed IP, original IP. I've had my hands in a little bit of everything, and I've more often than not been the guy that has to document and explain that to other people and get results absolutely no matter what. So one of the things that I'm really looking forward to bringing to the marketplace is working one-on-one with the content creators to work on marketing and presentation. Like I've been going through our ticketing system, Zendesk, and sending out emails. Several of you have been hearing from me and saying, this is a really great pack, but this part of it lacks a little bit of context. So if I was wanting assets like this for my game, this is how I would lay it out a little bit better so I know exactly what I'm getting, what I'm buying. And in demonstrating that will show the buyer, like, look, I'm anticipating your needs. I know what it's like to actually assemble assets for a game, and you're not going to have to worry about some kind of crazy freak show. And I'm also trying to work with buyers better to show them, look, this is the degree to which I'm getting involved in every single asset that comes in. These are the standards that I'm setting. This is the documentation that I'm writing internally that I'm gradually going to be pushing externally to show the community, these are the standards we expect, and this is what you can expect and come to rely on if you're buying things in the marketplace. Like, I'm a very experienced developer, and I've been on both sides of this. I know how to bridge that gap, and I want the marketplace to be a place where you can get extremely high quality assets that in asset packs that you can rely on and know exactly what you're getting and how you're going to be able to work with it, and know that over time everything is going to be, well, everything is interoperable, but it's going to be much cleaner behind the scenes down to the finest detail. And to some degree, that's why things take a little bit longer to finally get posted on the marketplace, because there's so much work in the background we're doing to make sure everything is the level best that we can get. And I'm really, really excited about this. I love working with artists individually. I love technology. I love knowing how things work. And I'm especially passionate about the idea that that's possible to, I think in the future it'll be possible to create an actual new type of like individual self-sustaining freelance career selling things on the marketplace. You just have to learn how to be essentially how to run your own business, how to be a merchant, how to understand customer service and understand how your users and customers are using your product. And the entire concept of that fascinates me, and I really want to work to build the marketplace into the most logical place to go to sell your things to people with to people with money and to take control of your life and career and do what you enjoy doing and to be really, really good at it.
It's probably a good place to interject. We really love talking to people who have good experience selling assets on marketplaces that really have strong opinions of what they would like to see from our marketplace. We have a lot of things that I just called out are fairly basic things, I think, features that you would expect from a marketplace. But really what we're looking for from the experience set is someone that can, or the feedback of like how to price things, how to understand what really is good value whenever you sit down to make a game. What kind of things can we do to help promote you as a developer? So I look forward to our interactions and with that kind of a seller and getting that kind of feedback back from you and the community. That's something that has been really helpful for us so far, and the few people that we have been able to hear from. And just kind of a call out to anybody that's very interested in making sure that we continue to grow the marketplace in the right direction. Give us the feedback, and we love it.
Absolutely. I want to see it grow into something that people feel confident selling there, knowing that if they do good work, it will be promoted, it will be highlighted. And on a weekly basis, whenever we do content releases, I'm going to be pointing out something special or unique about every single content pack that goes out to demonstrate to buyers. Here's something you may not have thought about in the way that this could be used, and demonstrate to content creators. like this is a way to market your work, and this is a way you could go a little bit deeper into it to be more useful, and this is the kind of thing that we look for. So I really want to turn this into like a place where they can be, you know, if you're selling, you can be like really empowered and get really creative and just be self-sufficient, do what you love, and make money doing it.
Cool. That's awesome.
That's the dream. Goal, I mean.
Yeah. Well, awesome stuff. Well, thanks, Jon, for giving us a little insight on that. Yeah, I'm really glad to have you on board, and I think that there's some really cool stuff we can all do together with the community too. So, yeah, awesome. We got a few questions on specific things real quick that I can hop into. There's a couple that came across the forums about the preview builds. In general, how safe is it to switch my project into a preview build? 4.6 and beyond, or 4.6 and before, it was decently safe. 4.7 and going forward, the first preview build will, as mentioned earlier, probably be a little broken. So actually, it will be a little broken for sure. So if you're going to switch, if you're going to move work from one to the other, you can surely test in some of the preview builds that come out, but I would definitely wait to actually move full bore into the next one until the actual release of it. It's not like a quote-unquote ready for the public beta as much as the preview ones before are. That's going to be like iterated with multiple releases between each major release. So with that, just you can do some testing there, but I would definitely be wary of actually moving forward into a preview build and then just starting developing there, because it's likely going to change with the next preview build, and then the rest of the bugs will be, well, the rest of the known bugs will be swept up into the actual release that we do. And then on that too, also what kind of data and functionality should I expect to be lost when moving a project from an older engine to a new one? That really depends on what you're working on. So in general, we don't make a ton of changes to things like how we handle FBX imports, content themselves. Even as we move things, as Marketplace moves from version to version, a lot of that stuff translates pretty easily. Yeah. There are some code refactor things that change, blueprint nodes that get deprecated and stuff like that. So it really depends on the nature of what you're working on. We try not to be too clobbersome with release over release with that. So
usually the that's a good word. The content packs are safe, as you said. The blueprints are the ones that we have been just double checking everything on the point releases, but on these previews, it would probably be safe to check everything.
Yeah, and usually later than sooner. Yeah, because it's it's funny. We build our own games with Unreal Engine 4 too, so quality is definitely something that we do, and we test a lot of our own stuff against it as well. So that's what's kind of cool about the new preview system, is we're going to have like a running known issues list that's stuff that you guys report in and stuff that we've actually found ourselves, and so you can kind of see that it's the first step in our way to be more transparent about I guess bug tracking with you guys right on these previews. So cool. And then I think we've got a few on here for the marketplace itself, so I'll roll this down here. There was one about the status of code plugins and website. Those are things that we are in the discussions for effort on at this point, right? Yeah,
code plugins are certainly a challenge for us. We have Allegorithmic is a code plugin currently that is not available through the marketplace. You can download it from their website, and then the asset packs are available. We are talking with a few other people with that same kind of a setup. Obviously, we want to get to a point where we can hold, we can
absolutely
actually support code plugins. And
super important to us, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And so the conversations have started kicking up again about that, and hopefully we can get that maybe into the roadmap conversation pretty soon on the engine team. There's just a lot of moving parts there and a lot of things to consider. Compatibility is probably the top of the list, but not being a programmer, I really can't speak to exactly what else needs to happen there. There's just a ton with the code plugin side. Yeah, we want to make it the biggest. It's not an obstacle, but the biggest thing that we're focusing on with that is making a great user experience. We don't want to release a toolkit that's clunky. We want it, just as everything, we want to refine the pipeline of getting things from the creator to the developer through the marketplace with everything we do. And so with plugins, since they're more technical and just in nature, being code, and a lot of the work goes back to the person who, like, you can actually put an asset pack on the marketplace now, and really don't have to worry about too much with the keeping up with it from point release to point release.
Right.
But whenever you put a code plugin on there, it really goes back to the person who created it to do the updates and to keep them live and keep them fresh, you know, from release to release. And so until we're happy with that from some of the other, you know, known companies that we've worked with in the past, it becomes a little harder for us to try to push any of that out to the community. But that may ultimately be the direction we go to. It's just really early in the code plugin world.
Yep.
For us. And then the website, I assume that is a web version of the marketplace.
Yeah, to be able to parse that data from there.
Yeah, gosh, we really, like, this is something that we absolutely want. It is something that we really want to make sure that we are careful in putting out there. We have a lot of web initiatives right now that are going on across the company, so this is one of them. It's on the list of things that we certainly want to address on web. But I really feel like that we need to make sure that we have the launcher version in a really good solid state, and we have our pipelines in place first before we open up the floodgates to the potential of tons more traffic that a website would drive.
Right.
That said, there's a lot of other intermediate steps that we can go to look at for website. You know, maybe we don't launch with a fully functioning marketplace on the web. Maybe it's just a view of what's on the marketplace. You know, there's certainly even things that I know John and I and some of our team could do to make sure that people know what's on the marketplace a little bit easier than we have in the past. So, you know, I think there's intermediate steps, but a full-fledged marketplace on the web is probably a little far out at the moment.
Cool. This is a good one, and I get asked it occasionally too. How do we handle the process of updating marketplace assets, subversion over version?
So that is a little rocky right now.
It's part of the manual process.
It's part of the manual process. Say again. Yeah, the real thing there is you just have to email us. If you put something in, we know who you are. We've been working with you. So we have a really good tracking mechanism of keeping up with you and if you have a company, your company, and all the things that you've submitted. What we don't have a good way of doing right now is letting you manage that. And so we don't mind the extra overhead of updating at the moment. We definitely want to get that automated. We want to push that out to people so that they can do it themselves. But at the moment, it is a manual thing that you email marketplace@epicgames.com or reply to one of the emails that you've had from us before, and that's how you can get your items updated.
Cool. Do we need to open a company to sell things on Marketplace?
No, we have a lot of individual sellers. I can speak to having a company and the benefits that come from that. To answer your question directly, no. If you start selling in volume, start making serious money from it, there are a variety of tax reasons that I would recommend starting an LLC over. Talk to an accountant, but you can write off office space, computer equipment, and there are a lot of very smart reasons to do so, but I'd say only past a certain threshold of, you know, money's really coming in, then talk to a licensed professional, which I am not.
Yeah, and at the same time too, check with your national and state laws as things change, right? There's a lot of international people too that might be bringing into this, and that's where my knowledge about business hits the wall, right? Yeah,
just in general, make sure that you you ask us any questions like that too. That's another reason we kind of started that alias, which will do a better job of getting out there. Marketplace@epicgames.com. If you have any questions like that, we'll try to find the answers for you on those.
One thing I thought I'd bring up that just popped in my head, speaking of international companies and wire transfer, it might be worth finding out as far in advance as possible when you're selling how wire transfers work from the U.S. to whatever country you're in, and find out with your bank if it'd be easier to do that through a company rather than as an individual. Get in countries vary wildly, but that's a question worth asking, and it's worth getting lined up early so that your asset can get in the marketplace faster when we get to the point of acceptance and asking you for your bank details.
We do accept PayPal, but there are fees associated with PayPal, so we want to make sure that everybody is, you use whatever source you want to for those types of transfers. We're fairly flexible, but we do want to make sure that we're avoiding the fees that you are as well.
Yeah. Cool. And let's see. Any plans for future promotions? I think absolute resounding yes.
Yeah, the little initial promotion that we did with the prototype packs went pretty well for us. So we got a lot of traction there. I think we are one of the tasks that John and I have is to really come at promotions from a standpoint of how do we want to do them, what do we want to set our goals to be. We want to make sure that we have plenty of reason to do the promotions. We want to just do it because everybody else is doing it, or doing it because it's New Year's, or for whatever reason we want to have. But
yeah, we probably wouldn't do anything like it's a Crazy Deke Friday, everything's a penny.
I like that actually. That's kind of cool. That's a good ring to it.
Crazy Deke Friday. Can we make that a thing, please?
I love it. Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, I want that so bad.
Yeah, we're gonna be rolling out some more formal, like here's how we do promotions, and talking to some of our sellers about there again another great opportunity to get some feedback, but just really understanding like what they would want to kind of have out of a promotion. But we'll probably be kicking that off pretty soon in the new year.
And like I said earlier, one of the things I really want to work closely with content creators on is how to market and promote your content and make it as appealing as possible, for purchase, and that ties in directly to this. I want to basically find the best way, putting your foot forward, your best foot forward, presenting well, and finding what kind of promotions can really play to that and give you an idea like, okay, this is what we're promoting, this is our particular theme or concept or idea, and we think your pack would be excellent for it, like for this reason. The community aspect and working closely with the community is going to make or break us, really.
Yep.
And I think it's a good opportunity to really dig into it and do it right.
Totally awesome.
Also, a game of chance, another promotion.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. Having a word for a name has always been a great thing.
Should have gone my direction.
Yeah.
Just make up your own.
At least you're not at least you're not named after a controversial martial artist.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, John gets tweeted at a lot. That's awesome. Well, cool. Awesome. With that, those are all the guys that we can actually nail down for that. So I guess we'll announce the game jam. Is that
Cool.
is that a thing that people want?
Sounds delicious.
I guess it is. Yeah. We were talking about the difference between game jams and game preserves and game jelly earlier.
Marmalade.
I prefer the jams myself. So I guess I'll finally push this live. All right, let's see what we got here. And Shelly to the monitors, please. Thank you. Our theme this month is what's in the box. So we've got until the end, midnight Sunday. Actually, it would be Monday morning, but the 14th. Work through the 14th, and at midnight we'll cut off submissions, and we'll start gathering them on Monday. We really can't wait to see what you guys all make. There's been some awesome stuff coming on over the last 2 months, and we're just super inspired by this stuff that people are available to build in 3 days. It's just
So cool.
just awesome. So
which was step one?
what's that? Oh, nope. And so yeah, full list of rules is up there too. For you guys that have done these before, it's all the same. And yeah, we can't wait to see what you got. So please show us all the awesome.
What's in the box?
Yeah. And with that, we will be coming to a halt. So next things we've got for you guys next week. There's no support stream next week due to so many people being out for the holiday, and but we do have the Thursday stream again too. So we're going to have a few of our community members here on site. We'll announce it as soon as we've got all the details knocked down. But we'll be talking through some specific things, and then showcasing the top game jam showcasing all the game jam submissions, but then talking through the 3 winners who will get all the fun goodies and stuff. So. Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks.